How's it going, Coach? How's the Winfield became bowl eligible today? How does that feel?
It's easy for you to say. It feels great. Feels great. Proud of the guys. Proud of the way they worked. Was obviously concerned, worried, nervous about how they would respond after a big win last week, but they came out, had a good practice on Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and yesterday, and were great at the hotel. Started out playing well, got up to a lead. But just proud of the way they played, early, not necessarily defensively late, but played early to put themselves in a position to win.
And then following that up, you seem to have opened up the playbook for De'Aaron King. I mean, I don't know your specific same plays, just giving him more opportunities to pass the ball. Is that what you guys are trying to do right now? Nope,
just same plays and what we feel like is there defensively in terms of what they're doing structure-wise, coverage-wise. But same playbook. Right.
Sorry, what did you enjoy? Same plays, but what did you see from Derek that you enjoyed watching him out there?
It's consistency. Competitive, dialed in, focused. Just very proud of him. I am. He's been through a lot in terms of coming here with the opportunity to play quarterback, and then Marquez Stevenson gets injured 2 weeks before we play Oklahoma last year. Yeah, I'll do it for the team. I'll go play wide out. He's on pace to catch 60 balls as a true freshman. And then Kyle Postma gets injured in the Tulane game, so now he's got to go back to quarterback, and so he loses that production that he's had at wide receiver. Then he goes in the weight room before we play San Diego State in the Las Vegas Bowl, suffers a knee injury, out for 4 to 5 months, knowing he can't fully compete in the quarterback competition in the spring. It just, all that kind of stuff is just who he is, who we thought he was in recruiting, and he's just proven us right, and proud of the way he was consistent out there, made big plays, and we just got to continue to be humble and come back the next week and get better and better.
Was his injury part of the decision to make it basically a 2-quarterback competition between Kyle Allen and Kyle Postma instead of the 3 quarterbacks?
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
You said that going into spring he wasn't as healthy as you guys would have liked just now. Is that what also played into part?
Yeah, he nor Kyle went through spring practice. They did some drills, but they never went full 11 on 11. It was just straight up. Kyle Allen was the only guy that actually got any live scrimmage reps. So neither one of those guys got an opportunity to really compete in the spring. And then Kyle Postma came back and was healthy all throughout fall camp, but De'Aaron got hurt halfway through and had to have orthoscopic surgery and missed 4 weeks. So for a guy who never really got a chance to step all the way in the ring and fight, he's done a hell of a job of staying poised, patient. It just says a lot about his character and how he's raised.
Coach, right back here. I know that as a coach, you've got to be cautious about things, but seeing the way this team's played the last couple of weeks, how close are you to what you envisioned at the start of the year? Are you starting to approach that point where you're starting to see this team reach the potential that you saw at the start of the year?
In some cases, yes. In some cases, yes. I see, some discipline, some accountability, in certain phases of the game, guys being hard on themselves. At the same time, you also see some things that just aren't getting better, aren't getting better. So we've got to address those a different way. We can't continue to go back and say, we're doing it, we're trying. No, if we're doing the same thing, then we're insane, and we're expecting different results. So we've got to find different ways to get some of these issues fixed. Now we're getting ready to play 2 teams that run triple option, but I'm sure they have a pass in their playbook. So we've got to get some of that stuff fixed because at one point in the second quarter, third quarter, we couldn't cover anything.
Major, to begin the third quarter, they score, and I think they get within 28-17. You guys on the next play, you hit Dunbar with the big play, and then you get a fumble, another big play. What was the importance there to answer that attempt they did there to begin the second half?
Yeah, we talk about it as a team. Football in a lot of ways is like being out in the driveway. It's a giant game of horse. A guy hits a shot, you got to hit it. Guy hits a shot, you got to hit it. Guy hits a shot, you got to hit it. All right, now he misses. Now it's your turn to put him on the defense. And so that's kind of what was going on because they started answering and getting closer and getting into a 2-possession game because we were getting ready to make it a 4-possession game. And then the way we went into half and came out of the half, the script kind of flipped. So what that did is, you got a couple letters in there, by scoring quickly and then getting a turnover.
And the secondary has been hit this season with injuries. you don't have Khalil. Yeah, you go with, I guess you had the way you didn't use them. Played the defense.
Put it
the way
this
you
way,
did.
we had 6 guys in the defensive back room that started the season when we went out to Arizona. None of those 6 guys played today or were healthy enough to play. And every one of them played in that game. Every one of them.
Then you get Brandon McDowell, who's one of the guys who comes in, gets the pick 6. So, I mean, I'm sure if you can draw it up like that, you'd like for someone to come in and have that kind of
third string safety come in there still, absolutely. But that's a testament to him. He's a 5th-year grad transfer who, obviously it says a lot about him. He's graduated college, so he's thorough, pays attention, smart guy, listens in the meeting rooms, does great things for us in the return game, punt return, kick return. So it doesn't surprise me that he was in the right place at the right time and then capitalized on it. Proud of him, very much so.
Do you add Garrett Davis now to that list in terms of what I didn't see what happened to him, but
he came out of the locker room at halftime and was fine and was able to go, and then started cramping there in the middle of the 3rd quarter, and then had to go back in, get an IV, and then when he came back out, the complexion of the game had changed, and it was like, no, we're keeping him off.
So it's safe to say that the open date comes at a really good time for you guys.
No doubt, no doubt. If we use it right, I know what we're going to do as coaching staff in terms of creating a schedule that's, optimal for recovery. But we only have them 4 hours a day, so a lot of this is up to these 18 to 22-year-olds what they do with the other 20 hours a day in terms of how they eat, sleep, go to class. So we got to do a great job of coaches being on the phone, text message, and FaceTiming, making sure we're doing the right things, going to bed at the right time, eating, drinking the right stuff.
With the performance of King today, is it something that you're looking back now into, like last year at Greg Ward Jr.'s performances, and just like trying to model your offense after that? You saw today that both Bonner and Stephen Dunbar got over 140-something, or they got about 100 and something yards each. Is that something like, do you want to make your offense, as obviously you do, as dynamic as it was last year, and model it after the Greg Ward, now that you have King back at quarterback position?
Yeah, it allows you to do a lot of the same things, that Greg was able to do. Today specifically, we try to take some of the run game out of De'Eric's hands, unless it was just an absolute advantageous run, just because he had suffered some really hard hits last week against South Florida. So tried not to feature him in the run game too much. They were doing some things in their run support that allowed us to throw the football more. Was very pleased with the way he stood in the pocket and threw the ball. Those were some things that were hard for us to evaluate. You can't really evaluate when you're not practicing. When you miss all the spring practice, it's hard to see, can a guy do that? But he did a great job of sitting in there and throwing, and we just got to keep working. We're not there. We're still the same yahoos that lost to a 1-5 team 3 weeks ago. So you got to continue to fight those things, and not let those kind of behaviors come up again. And continue to fight that every day as a coach, as a player.
Is that kind of tough with De'Eric, though, when you take some of the run out? I mean, by nature, that's, as a young quarterback, and Greg went through the same thing where he wants to take off. Maybe that's the first read. But his passing game's probably a little underrated in terms of what people think he can do.
Yeah, I think sometimes, when you talk about a dual-threat quarterback, there's 2 types of running quarterbacks. Those that run when everybody's open. When everybody's covered and they take off and they create something. And then there's guys when you call direct runs, like this quarterback's going to keep this ball, and he is running like a tailback. Those are some of the things that we want to stay away from, because you're running between the tackles with somebody De'Eric's size or Greg's size. It's just, common sense tells you that's not going to last very long. So open it up, spread the field, play fast, and when people are covered or you don't have a good look to throw the ball, then use what God gave you and go make yards for Houston. And he's done a good job of understanding when those opportunities are, when to save hits, when to get his eyes back down the field and hit open receivers. So we just need to continue practicing those things, and as coaches and players, stay humble and know we're not there yet.
Coach, with the pass defense, specifically in the second half, you brought it up earlier. Was it, you'll probably want to go back and check the film out, but did you feel like guys were in the right place and not making plays? Did you feel like maybe schematically you guys didn't have them in the right spots a few times?
Well, you also had 2 interceptions, but I'm not defending it. Okay, because I'm pissed off about it, but I've got to go back and see, are we in the wrong place? Are we not recognizing what patterns are coming? Are we too predictable with what we're calling? And there's a fine line, because there's weaknesses to every side of the football, and so there's things that you have to do as a play caller to hide those weaknesses, to hide those weaknesses. So when you do something to hide them, then you're going to give up something else. And so in some cases, you're saying, all right, I'll give up the 8-yard route. I'll give up the 6-yard route. I'll give up the 10-yard route. I ain't giving them up 40, 50-yard route. But there's some things that we can do, to eliminate that too, to where people can't nickel and dime you down the field. So we'll go back and look at that. That'll be, a point of emphasis for us tomorrow and Monday. But at the same time, also, we're getting ready to play two completely different teams. But in the bowl game, we could end up playing a passing team, so we need to get those things addressed.
Y'all shut down Cirque early. Did y'all prepare for Minshew, or did that quarterback change catch y'all by surprise?
He played some against Virginia Tech. He was a good player. He made some plays in that game. But give Coach Montgomery and him credit, and the wide receivers credit. I mean, there were some plays being made too. There were some guys that caught some balls in some dead spaces in zone, but there were also some guys laying out for balls, making some good catches in tight coverage. Guys coming up and hitting them. So. I don't want to make it sound like it was all us and it was all our fault, and that's the only reason they got a yard. Those guys made plays too, so give them credit.
Just to circle back, also the lack of pass rush. Do you think that also maybe contributed some to the problems on the defensive side of the ball with only one sack today, and them throwing the ball a lot? You would assume maybe try to get a few more pressures and get to the quarterback a little bit more.
It's just that fine line. The more you pressure, the more you open yourself up. And, it's just trying to balance that out in terms of, when can we start affecting the quarterback to where some of these balls aren't as accurate. But the moment you start to pressure, then you start to give something up, and it's a fine line. And, we've got to learn, do our jobs better as players, coach better, continue to recruit at that position. Obviously, you lose a guy like Howard Wilson in the 4th round. I mean, that's huge. The guy was going to be a starter for us, but doesn't matter. There's no free agent wire, so we got who we got, and we just got to get better.
Leroy Godfrey, again, second week in a row. He's kind of been out there and had an impressive showing. What are you seeing from him as the season's going on? Maybe some more snaps have led to him, maybe opening up a little bit more?
Yeah, he's starting to pull the trigger more. I saw him on a few plays. I'd like to, be able to go back before I just critique his whole game. But I do see him showing up more around the ball, more physical. Looks like he's starting to play more instinctual ball, and he just needs to keep coming along. There's never a work ethic issue with him or anything like that. He puts it all in, so proud of him from that standpoint.
Anything else?
All right, y'all. Have a great weekend.
Good. I got a question for, I guess, both wide receivers. You guys both showed up big on the stat sheet today. I think it was like 147 and 130 something. Do you guys, is that attributed all to your new quarterback at starting, or is that just you guys finally starting to click together as starting wide receivers?
I wouldn't say we just started clicking. I can say it contribute to the team. We just work hard. We've been trying to, battle through some adversity as far as just trying to find a rhythm as an offense, period. So I think that's just what we've been focusing on lately, just trying to get in the rhythm as an offense and trying to see what works and what we're good at and what we're not.
And then to follow up with that, Derek, did you feel comfortable in the pocket today? Was it, obviously you threw for 330 yards, but was it more, were you comfortable in the pocket, or did you want that to go out, scramble a little bit, and go for the run?
No, I was comfortable in the pocket. The offensive line did a great job, and these guys did great getting open and making plays for me, so I was pretty comfortable.
For an EV3, I mean, the way the season's gone, you guys have had some tough games, some tough losses. It's a little nice to have a game where you get out to a lead and able to build on it, and, I don't want to say easy, but you win handedly.
Yeah, it's definitely good to see success as far as the team goes. But like I said before, we just had some ups and downs, and it's good to see us trying to come together and build on this week as we go on to the rest of the season and stuff.
Derek, switching between wide receiver and quarterback and wide receiver and quarterback the past 2 years, has that change allowed you to at least connect with your wide receivers better?
Yeah, I feel like we have a pretty good relationship. As soon as I got on campus, like me and these guys are really close, and I feel like me playing receiver kind of helped us get closer. But yeah, I mean, I would say it would.
But I mean, like route-wise, like you know exactly where they're going to be, placement of the ball, etc.
It showed them how much running we do at practice.
Yeah, playing receiver, I kind of know what those guys are going to do and how they're going to run their routes because I was running the same route. So yeah, it helped a lot.
They had gotten, I think, as close as 28-17, and then the three of you hooked up for the next 2 touchdowns. I think it was under a minute that it took. How big was that to, they made a run at you and you answered?
Yeah, Coach Applewhite and Coach Johnson, the whole coaching staff always pushed the responses. So when they scored, we didn't panic. We just went out there and just executed and just trying to go back up.
Just want to go back to the beginning a little bit. Derek, what did it mean to you to finally get a start at quarterback, and what did you enjoy about being out there?
It meant a lot. I've been working for it for a little minute, so I was just excited to go out there with these guys and the rest of the team and just try to get a win.
And Linnell, you guys get bowl eligible again. What did it mean to become bowl eligible, and how much fun was it today?
It was very fun today. It's been a long time since we've been up by that much on an opponent. So, and it's been a long time since we connected just like that as an offense. So. Oh yeah, I mean I don't know how it would feel to not go to a bowl. Since I've been here, I've been going to bowl games. So if I wasn't eligible to go, I wouldn't know how to go about that.
As far as your last game, you got a tweet from Greg Ward Jr. saying that you've been modeling your game after him. Is that something that you were actually trying to do as the starting quarterback for UH? There's a long lineage of a lot of really good quarterbacks that have come through here. Now it's your turn. Is that something? Is it something that you are modeling after Greg Ward, especially after this game where you had such success on the field?
Greg was a great player here. I would think every quarterback would want to do some of the stuff that he did here, and I kind of looked up to Greg when I was here last year, and he taught me a lot. So I would say I wouldn't try to be exactly like him, but it's some things that I try to take from him and do just as good as he did.
And then real quick, how did it feel to end your first start, not on the bench, but at not even finishing out the game, letting your backup come in? Did that feel pretty good?
Yeah, it felt pretty good. We got a huge win. We handled business, and it was good to kind of get comfortable towards the end of the game.
Derek, congratulations.
Thank you.
Coach Applewhite was talking about just a lot of the things that you went through with, you're talking, having to switch positions and then getting hurt and do all this stuff, and here you are. Just can you talk about just what that whole thing was like for you, having to go through that and getting to this point?
It was a long journey. I just kept God first, and I kept working hard every single day. I first got here playing receiver. It was kind of something new, but I was just trying to help the team out in any way I could, and finally getting my chance to play quarterback, it was a dream of mine being a college quarterback, so it feels pretty good.
Derek, for you specifically, as you try to start your starting quarterback career at Houston, what does the bowl eligibility mean for you as far as the extra practices now that you're going to get with your team and just all those extra reps it's going to bring up you and the young receivers?
It means a lot. It's like it's my first time playing quarterback here, and we have a lot of young guys, and just to get more comfortable with the receivers and just as an offense as a whole, and I feel like my extra practice will help a lot.
For the three of you, how important is it to carry some momentum into this open date? You guys have won 2 in a row, and then how badly do you guys need the break, considering some of the guys that are banged up?
I think it's big. We've been playing a lot of games, so this week is definitely going to be good on our bodies. Just getting some rest as far as just the physical contact of the sport, but just the mental break to actually kind of look at yourself and see where you've been could get better in your game and just focusing on that. But I think the most thing for this week that we got going is just healing up and getting everybody healthy so we can finish the season strong.
To follow up on his question, Derek, you obviously came from high school. You did really a lot of crazy things in high school. Came here, got recruited, got probably promised that you were going to start at quarterback. Then, things changed. Tom Herman left. A lot of things have changed and happened. And I remember talking to you at the beginning of this season and asking you about the quarterback competition. It had already been determined. It was between those two guys. You just kept saying that you were just here to do whatever is best for the team. Has everything culminated to this moment today, like your first start? You're about to start your journey as the starting quarterback. You did officially today. Is that something that's really big to you? You're a sophomore. You've been, basically.
Yeah, I would say it's a pretty big deal to me, but it's not about me. It's about the team, and I just wanted to help the team win any way I could, and that's what I've been trying to do.
Well, guys, you've had some tough ones this year, close ones. What's it feel like to get one that you didn't have to take down to the wire today?
I mean, it feels good. We put the preparation in this week, so it feels good for all that hard work and time to benefit from it.
Yeah, like I said, we prepared hard. We're learning each week, and we're building upon each week. So it's great that we finally, put one to bed pretty early.
You look at what they did offensively. They changed quarterbacks pretty early. Had y'all seen much of that guy in terms of what to expect, or some of the yardage that you gave up? Was that a product of maybe not knowing too much about him?
Not too much, not knowing too much about him. Our coach did a good job of coaching us up on both quarterbacks, but that's just we have to go back and fix the little things, fix things that we gave up overall as a defense. Whether that be on D-line, linebackers, or DBs, we just got to tighten the screws.
Yeah, like Coach says, it's always it's never just the secondary or just the offense or defensive line. It's a combination of both. So we're gonna work on both areas. For linebackers, we really focused on 10 as far as the run game with him, and when they eliminate that, we realized that he was doing more passing with number 5. So we changed up our scheme a little bit in the second half.
Hey, on that targeting call, I think you kind of feel like it was a targeting call. Just kind of feel like, talk about how it felt from you. Did you think it was, or how did you feel about it?
At the time, I didn't know whether I was going to be ejected of the game or stay in. But as a player, I just got to be smarter on that and not have that unnecessary roughness penalty that puts our defense back. Just got to be smart.
I thought it was a good hit.
Appreciate it.
I don't know how membership goes, but does Brandon McDowell, is that a Jack Boy membership just to get the pick 6 that he had?
He's earned his stripes.
He earned his stripes. Yeah, he's in that for sure.
A couple of times they got into, 4 times in a row actually, they got into the red zone, but y'all held them to 17 points. How did that feel?
As a defense, we take pride on that. Whether how they got in the end zone, how they got in the red zone, whether it be turnover, they drove down the field, but that's when we tighten up and we know it's go time.
Mm-hmm. We always criticize and critique ourselves about flipping a switch, and always, no matter how they got down there, don't let them score, no matter what. 0-3 in the red zone. So, that's when we buckle down and we really hit the hammer with the nail. So, yeah.
I know we joke about the interception, but that and the fumble that you guys caused that also led to points. How big were those turnovers there when they try to get it closer, early in the third quarter, but those helped you, pull away late?
Those turnovers definitely help. They help with the confidence on defense and with the offense. We love getting the ball in our offense's hand. They're explosive, they're dangerous, and so I want them to have as many possessions as they can.
Still a couple weeks left, or a couple games left for you guys. 3 now, obviously. What's it been like in your senior year getting at? Both of you have had an increased role on the defense, and also now bowl eligible, knowing you're going to extend that last season and get a chance to enjoy it a little bit more there at the end.
Yeah, like I said, we just do it for the next guy next to us. We just try and do our role. There's 11 people on the field, and we just try to do our 1/11th. Being bowl eligible is always awesome. we already know about that. But as far as taking each play at a time and doing each role, I mean, we just try and do our job. And when our number's called, and whatever we need to do, Coach, we're there.
Anything else?
What's the bye week? I mean, just to get your bodies. I mean, it looks like, especially in the secondary, you guys are pretty banged up.
Yeah, we're pretty banged up, so we'll definitely take this off week, get a lot of treatments, get our legs right up underneath us, a lot of people have banged up, just nagging injuries, so we'll just get right.
You've been here enough where I think some of your open dates have been really early before, like maybe week 2, week 3 in the past. To have one late, does that kind of, I don't want to say benefit you, but does it help a little bit more that it's late for that final push here?
Oh, of course. As the season goes on, you start to get banged up more and more by the week. So to have this, not necessarily off week, but where you don't have a game that week, it helps. You get extra time in the treatment room.
That's for sure.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.